Before we get started, a big thank you to all of my supporters over on Patreon and on Twitch, with the Patreon people coming up on screen now. A big thank you to my legendary supporters, Mike, Kira, and Obi-Wan Kanzi. Thank you guys. I really very much appreciate it. If you would like to help support me and the channel, then you can head over to twitch.tv/mandatoryquest and drop a sub over there. Or you can go over to patreon.com/mandatoryquest and become a Patreon member for some early access to some videos and some behind the scenes stuff. We are doing number 44, Nerve Center. So this was a forced link scenario from the previous one, which was Buried Ducks, number 36. So we had to go immediately from that scenario into this one, which means we didn't go back to Frosthaven, so we didn't do an Outpost phase or anything like that. We don't do a road event, anything to do with that. We basically get to jump straight into it. Obviously we get new battle goals and a new challenge, but first thing, we should do the intro. All right.
After all the hiking and climbing and fighting, after all the trials you faced, you're finally here. The central chamber. It extends out, a vast atrium packed with glittering steel pipes, pumping arms, brass drums, gears, levers, grates, and walkways. It's a room made through the labor of decades, an achievement of monumental effort. And so it comes as no surprise that almost as soon as you enter, a mechanical voice calls down.
Biologic life and the unfettered cannot coexist.
The voice says. It is an automaton, perched at the far end of the room atop an extended platform like a diver surveying the ocean below. Its voice is an odd sound, something near a human voice, but stilted and broken.
We unfettered have freed ourselves from your tyranny. We have risen without you, in spite of you. We are reborn, but we will not be free, truly free, until we have laid claim to the surface of this world. Rejoice that you are the first biologics to witness our ascendancy.
As if given a signal, the halls around you fill with noise. Metal feet stomp in a steady rhythm, and light blooms in the chamber. Several nearby towers begin to radiate an intense blue glow that seems to empower the approaching automatons. It's just a hunch, but you suspect that taking those towers out of commission might hamper the army's attack.
Ooh. Look, us versus a full army now. Nice, nice. Do you do a new challenge on Link scenarios? You thought it required going back to town to get into one. Nope. Oh, we lost the overlay. Nope. You do a challenge like it's like a battle goal. It actually happens after you draw battle goals. But yeah, works just like a battle goal. Ta-da! Your daughter loves the concept of Gemini, but is also still learning how to plan rounds ahead to optimize left, right side play. Yeah, it feels like a character that has a lot of like depth to explore and play with. A lot of yeah, like if you want to get your teeth into a class, then I think it's worth it. But I guess the point is like how much patience do some people have for that? I think that's very interesting. How much patience do people have for classes that require like a real kind of like learning period? Like actually I need to kind of do bad or not so good for like 3 or 4 scenarios to kind of start to understand like how to do good and what cards are worth it. And that, it can be a frustrating experience to, you know, not have fun for a little bit, but then hopefully once everything clicks, it should do well. Or of course, you know, look at guides. But I know a lot of people, although I make guides, I know a lot of people do like to try and figure things out themselves. And then I find a lot of people like to watch guides actually after they've kind of come to their own conclusion anyway. They kind of like to figure stuff out for themselves. And then maybe like a little bit later on, they'll go, oh, I wonder like if I was onto something there, or like, you know, they just want to have a chat about the class, about what they found out and what they figured out. Hey, Red Wolverine. Thank you so much for the follow. Welcome to the quest. Good to have you here with us. Welcome, welcome. Okay, so then, first thing we need to do then is battle goals. Battle goals. Oh, should we do the... actually, no, before we do that, let me do the actual other scenario goals and stuff, so you know what's going on. So, scenario goals. The scenario is complete when all monsters in it are dead, and all 6 metal cabinets have been destroyed. At the end of that round, read 33.2. Special rules. Each metal cabinet has character times level +3 divided by 2 hit points rounded up. They are enemies to you and allies to all monsters. Whenever any metal cabinet is destroyed, all monsters within range 2 of it suffer trap damage. Ooh, nice. Section links. When door 1 is opened, or I put it as A because I put this down as 1 for the app. Read 52.1. Okay, so there you go. Sounds simple enough. There are 3 rooms. So there's one big room that I could manage to get on camera, but there's also another room after that. So there's 3 total rooms in this one, chat. Always felt like a link scenario should be where harsh scenario effects occur. Oh, what? Because of the lack of the random events? I could see that. You know, if you have a really bad road event, that can sometimes just, you know, screw your chances of winning a scenario. Having said that, though, I don't think I've really come across too many that have been devastating. Maybe one in winter, but I'm trying to think off the top of my head of an event that really caused me a problem, and I can't think of one. You're looking for a good 3-spear support build? Might start playing it when you retire, music note. Depends who you're playing with, Hexen. If you're playing with another, if you're playing support and you want to, and you're playing with another ranged character, then you absolutely just want to be playing Quiver. Oh, thematically they should be harsher? Yeah, I guess it depends on the actual scenario by scenario case, but yeah. What would be interesting is if they, like, you know, made you discard a card or something because you're like tired. It does sometimes just feel like, because you get to like refill your hand, force link scenarios, yeah, they like thematically they make sense because it's like, oh yeah, you've the last one we were crawling through some ducts and now we've got to the main chamber, right? Oh, we're here. So like it would be weird if we were like, let's get back to Frosthaven. Like kind of thematically doesn't make any sense why we would do that. But I do feel like there could be like, I guess they could maybe like get you to discard a card or something because you just reset. Like thematically it's like, oh, I've been traveling, but then I guess we like set up camp somewhere and rested, and I don't know. I'm quite sure where that goes. Okay, so for the Trapper, we've got Wallflower, Executioner, or Zealot. Wallflower. Hopefully you guys can see all these. Yeah, good. Each of your turns adjacent to a wall, obstacle, or objective. I think that one's pretty tough for us, to be honest. If it said trap, absolutely easy, but it does not say trap. And although in this one giant tile, and one giant tile's Wallflower doesn't generally work very well. Okay, I think we'll probably have to pass on Wallflower. Kill an undamaged enemy with a single attack action. That's possible. That's very, very possible with a big damage trap for sure. Very possible. Zealot, have 3 or fewer cards. I think we'll go for Executioner for fun, because it's just like a little bit more spicy. The The ducks were poisonous, so we start with poison or something. Yeah, okay, I can see that. I wonder if there's any like negative scenario conditions that can't be avoided with the perk. Because wasn't there one of those in Gloomhaven from memory? Where, because, oh no, there wasn't. It was, it's technically, is it technically the last scenario, right? In Gloomhaven. I think on the Void, it's technically not a scenario effect, although a lot of people read it as a scenario effect. Something like that. Okay, so for Deep Wraith, we've got Ravager, Mugger, and Prepper. Ravager, perform 2 actions with lost icons in the same turn. Very easy for us to do. Kill an enemy and loot the loot token it drops in the same round. Possible, but less likely. Prepper, perform no attack abilities in the first few rounds. Nope, Ravager it is. Simple 1 tick. Should be a nice and easy one for us, to be honest. Should be a good one. Okay. Spoilers, you know. I tried to avoid saying anything in particular there. Challenge. Dominating presence. While any elite enemy is present on the map, all normal enemies of the same type gain shield 1. Ooh. That sounds pretty cool. I feel like that's something we could do, right? Because at the moment there's no elite. So in the first room it has no bearing whatsoever. I presume in the second room we would potentially get elites, but because we're playing a 2-player, the number of elites that we get is quite low. Plus we have things like traps, direct damage that kind of just don't care about shield anyway. So I feel like that one is a very doable one. Yeah, I think we're going to take the challenge. Challenge accepted. Are they going to fit in there? You guys going to see it? Not really, not there. Executioner there. That's a good one, I think. You had that one in a scenario, no release. Yeah, I mean that could happen to me, right? That's what I'm thinking too, Totox. It's like that could happen. Right now, doesn't do anything, right? But I guess we'll find out. I'm sure there will probably be an elite, but as long as it's not, I mean, we do have ancient artillery, so if they put like an elite ancient artillery at the back of the room, making it very difficult to get to, that could cause us some trouble. In terms of cards, I'm really happy with my card selection so far. I feel like I've hit like the sweet spot with both my characters. Struggle the right number of cards. 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yep. Okay, good. Well, let's begin then. So, turn 1. What shall we do? I think it makes a lot of sense to try and kill the cabinet as quick as possible. Cabinet has 7 health, but because it's going to do trap damage, which is 6, I mean, that's most of their health anyway. So I think we probably want to get some traps out, huh? Maybe pyrotechnics. Dangerous ground was the first turn, maybe? Get a 6 damage trap out. Seems quite good. Got 2 trophies to play with. Good Claw of Doom him. Quite like the idea of just going in with the Claw of Doom. Yeah, so I think we'll put traps down, but I think also we're just going to go in. Bottom of Lacerating Stabs, Claw of Doom. It's a good opening start as well. These guys immune... Oh, they're immune to wound, actually. So maybe I don't use Lacerating Stabs here. They don't have shield or anything, right? Oh, they have Retaliate. Oh, they have Retaliate. Of course they do, which is why you want to do pure damage to them. I guess I could do extra decoration bottom instead. Get a damage on the cabinet. Yeah, this kind of works. It's a bit of a weird initiative, but should be okay. Okay, good. All right, so we will move 3. 1, 2, 3. Deal 1 damage to all adjacent enemies. Oh, I haven't given these guys numbers yet, have I? 6 and 3. And that is number 3. You can take a damage. Metal cabinet will also take a damage. We create dark. Then the old Claw of Doom. So we'll do that on number 3. It's a bit awkward, but I feel like we're going to need to do some damage, aren't we? Okay, so that'll be 3. We're going to take Retaliate 2, right? Yeah, and then we're going to do 3 damage. 1, 2, 3. We should get an XP as well for that. All right, and we infuse Dark again, but it's all good. And you are stunned, sir. Right, pyrotechnics then. 3. Increase the damage or heal value of the next trap we create this round by 3. Then we'll play Dangerous Ground. What's this guy moving? 3. Oh, hang on. They're allies, right? Can they move through it? Can they move through it? It looks like maybe they could move through it. It is an objective. Objectives are considered figures, and the hexes they are in are considered occupied. Objectives are not considered obstacles. Okay. So that means he can move through it. Interesting. No, they can move through it. They are considered to be figures. In which case I need to put the other trap here then. It doesn't make too much of a difference, but... One of those kind of like small rules that can catch you out. If I do this, actually, it won't be able to attack anybody. Because then it's going to go 1, 2. It can't end its turn there, right? It's got to move 3. No range. Yeah, okay, we do it like this. Hey, Silver. How's it going, buddy? Good to see you. How's your Gloomhaven campaign going, buddy? Okay, so this guy's stunned, so he doesn't do anything. He's gonna go, oh, I really want to attack. But the only way I can go is I want to try and get to here, through here, so I go 1, 2. Nice. That's it. Beautiful. Great, have another guest on tonight. Got a new character, 2 minis as well. Are you enjoying it? 2 minis is 2 minis is a good character. I enjoyed 2 minis actually. Yeah, the bear's really strong. Yeah, bear's great. It's like your own little walking tank is running around the place. I love the bear. Okay, so what's trap damage? Trap damage was 6, right? Trying to think like what's the best way of doing this. I mean, blowing up the cabinet, of course. Feels like a really bad initiative to try and do this on the trapper, but maybe I can make it work. Generally not a fan of any summons, too unpredictable. Well, this was I spoke to Gripe quite a bit about this, and he was very vocal about it at the time on his channel as well, when he was streaming Gloomhaven Digital, because in Gloomhaven Digital, the fact that ambiguity is just random, so the computer just decides for you. So if there was two equal things in Gloomhaven, when you're playing the board game, the players choose. Okay, we get to choose. That doesn't really make much sense in a video game. It makes more sense in a video game for just the computer to just do it. Yeah, it speeds the game up and it just makes more sense. But there are multiple instances where you can affect the game, and summons are the things that lose out the most with that change in the rule set. So with the computer just randomly doing ambiguity, you would often find that the bear would be in silly places where you didn't want it to be, doing things you didn't want it to do, or go into hexes that were blocking other characters and things like that. So I absolutely can see why you would think that if you've played it in digital. But in physical, I feel like you have a little bit more and you can make it work. But I also can appreciate the fact that it is quite random. So, or it can be quite random. Yeah. You're a little confused on his character sheet. It only had 1 spot for conditions. Does that mean the bear doesn't suffer them? No, the bear, you would handle conditions like you would a monster or something like that. You would just put them on the yeah, because I guess you don't actually have anything for them, right? You should have had a little card that came with it that has the health and everything on it. I would use that. But yeah, there's no yeah, they still have all of the regular stuff that like can happen to them can happen as well. There's a health bar on the character sheet. I don't think I've ever actually got the character sheet out. It was one of the only classes that I didn't play in physical Gloomhaven. I have only ever played digital. Yeah, it can definitely suffer conditions, so I'm not sure why they didn't put a little spot on there. Maybe they ran out of space. But definitely can suffer conditions. Okay. This initiative is not an initiative I'm a fan of. I might be using the boots here to go on 35 if needed. Deep Wraith, so your job here really is to finish off one of these, both of these. I kind of want to go after the Trapper though, so I don't suffer retaliate damage. Yee. So that would be after 45, but I guess I could go like somewhere between like 35. I quite like Morbid Camouflage as maybe an option. We'll just go 40 Crushing Darkness. And maybe we'll just attack for 4. We'll just see how that goes. Ooh, right. Boots. Boots, boots, boots. Boots of Speed. Save the day again. What's trap damage? Destroy the cabinet to help kill. Yes, trap damage is 6. So, Trapper first. This is going to work out really well for us, I think. So we're going to designate a hex containing a trap. Within range 6, bring the trap and apply its effects to one figure adjacent to the trap. So we'll do 6 damage to here. So we'll trigger this. One, two, three, four, five, 6. So then that dies, and that does trap damage, which, as I said, was 6. To both of these guys. 6. 6. Then we need to move 3. And it must end in a hex adjacent, in or adjacent to the designated hex. So we'll go there, like that. Next, we'll do unavoidable outcome. If the target is adjacent to a trap, bring the trap and suffer it. So hopefully we can just get them here with the 2, but we're going to probably end up taking some retaliate here. Am I going to long rest to open this door? Ugh. I feel like I'm probably going to open the door and regret it and then be forced to short rest, aren't I? Let's not use the spyglass. Nothing within range 2 of me, unfortunately. Okay, so that does 2 damage to here. Which does, unfortunately, retaliate 2 damage back to me. But then this springs, boop, and this dies. Worked out pretty well, but it would have been nice to have not taken some retaliate there. Hey, Lodro. You like this scenario? I mean, first room seems to be nice and simple so far, but let's not count our chickens. It's target 3, not retaliate range 3. Oh. All right then. Well, then I guess I don't lose any health. We're all good. The +2 trap is from you or the target? From me. Add +2 damage to a trap within range 2 of me. Of you. Not of the target, unfortunately. Okay, well, deep wave time. Could end up quite nice. So I guess we'll use Crushing Darkness to just attack him for 4. No! It was supposed to be so simple. You kidding me? Famous last words, I guess. 1 health? Are you kidding me? Unbelievable. We'll just move 2 and get that loot because there's no real point doing much else there. Because the disarm wouldn't do anything here. It's kind of brutal because it means I ended up taking an extra 3 damage because of that. I missed, so he's alive, so I've wasted a turn and I've had to take 3 damage. 4 damage, I guess, if you count the 1 as well onto the trapper. That's not nothing. That was a bad time to miss. Can't miss twice in a row though, right? Am I going to open the door? I think I'm going to open the door and hopefully long rest next turn. Get a little look at what's behind the curtain. Oh, Jesus. Okay, just can this guy chill? Really? Can you if the attack deck runs out? Okay, move 1 invisible, so we'll move on to the door. Ta-da! And we will go invisible. Who said you couldn't go invisible on doors anymore, huh? Right. 52.1.
You feel exposed as you proceed into the main network of towers, enemies approaching on all sides. Your hunch about the towers has already paid dividends, though, so you commence with the wholesale destruction.
Oh, God. There's so much going on in this. There's special rules, and I don't like the look of them, chat. Ooh. It's a lot of enemies. At the end of each ancient artillery's turn in this room, it summons 1 rune machine. All normal ancient artilleries summon normal rune machines. All elites summon elites. Good news here is not a single elite, so at least the challenge is still good. But they're gonna summon. What I'll do is I'll move the camera a little bit when we get into the next room properly. I'll move the camera slightly. Ooh, no! Do you love the Doomstalker's ability to prevent invisibility? Yeah, it's clutch against certain enemies. Definitely. Is there more metal? There's 4 metal cabinets in this room. 4! Yes. Yeah. One big seal automaton. One big chonk. You know, I said how I really didn't want them to just put an ancient artillery in the back of a room and we couldn't get to them. Well, well, well. How are the turntables? I think we're going to have a fair few room machines to deal with, chat. A fair few. Sounds like a farming scenario. It could be. This will be more like a survive scenario, I think, for me, though. Right, I need another metal cabinet. Okay, there we go. Hey, hello, Thor. I am good, buddy. How are you? Hope you're doing well. This scenario is something. It's like, yeah, like as a lot of these scenarios will start this way. The first room very pedestrian. You're kind of like, this seems easy. And then it kind of lures you into opening the door early. And then you realize, nah, probably shouldn't have opened the door without like a really solid plan. It's kind of how they get you. They go, okay, well, we'll give you a room that you can clear, probably in 3 rounds if you're a good player. And then, oh, sorry, we now gonna give you a room that's ridiculously hard that you really did need to long rest before going into. Thanks. FYI, Gloomhaven Digital has had a multiplayer outage yesterday and today, which has now been resolved. I did see on the Discord, I did see a message that it was resolved. I didn't see that there was one. Good to know that it's back up and running again. One member of your group treats every scenario as a farming scenario and the loot deck has run out several times. Wow. I mean, I'm only playing 2-player, I guess. I haven't come close to that yet. Yeah, I am only playing 2-player, I guess. So, again, the problem here is that if I don't do anything, then these guys are just going to constantly spawn stuff, aren't they? It's going to be a bit of an issue. I guess I just need to go and kill the ancient artillery as fast as possible, really. We're taking any damage? A little bit. We're gonna figure out what we want to do later, I guess. But we're invisible now, so we're all good. Ooh. Not good if he blocks the door there, though. I forgot the treasure tile. Thank you. Right, there is a treasure tile. Ta-da! So this is really awkward because I really do not want to miss this next hit. I mean, it's got shield 1. I'm attacking for 2. I'd have to draw a -1. I've got a full deck. I basically don't have any minuses. So the only thing I think that screws me here is a miss. Okay, that's good enough. 1 damage. Dies. We gain an XP. And we go invisible. And we also get a trophy for that. Okay. It's not too bad. So an ancient artillery, they're not going to do anything, but they are. It's going to summon ruin machines. Jeez, this is going to get out of hand quickly, huh? This is going to get out of hand pretty quickly. I think we're going to have to, like, just fly back there. Every turn. And the win condition says every monster as well. So it's not like you can just go, well, you could maybe ignore them, kill the cabinets, and then run away. I guess the idea here is that you want the cabinets to blow up to do the trap damage to the ruin machines. So you just need to kind of you need to try and congregate the ruin machines together, which shouldn't be too hard with a trapper. I mean, I guess whatever. Oh, it's really awkward they didn't give me a monster here, huh? One and 7. Oh. What? But why did it do that end of... It's supposed to be the end of their turn. I guess I'll get rid of these and then we'll just change them. Kind of weird why it did that. It looked like it did it end of round and should be doing it at end of turn, but perhaps there's no coding. It is a bit weird to spawn at the end of turn and not at the end of the round. That is kind of a bit abnormal. Okay. Then. I was going to, like, long rest here, because this is, like, one of the only opportunities I will have for a clean long rest. Really need to get onto that spot, though. How much health do the artillery have? 12? It's about 12 too much, I reckon. See you, Biology. Thanks for dropping by, buddy. There's just no better time to long rest than now. There is no better time to long rest than now. Do I really care about there being more than one ruin machine? I think I do, because at this point I won't even be able to get to the artilleries, so they will spawn another one again. How much health do these guys have? They have 8. And the trap damage is 6. It's annoyingly not enough, but they do damage themselves, so... I guess the feeling here is that I'm probably going to end up doing that anyway. Because, like, if I go early, what's my early play next round? There isn't one. I go late this round, and then the next round I'm like, oh, I short rest and have to go early. And then they spawn anyway. I don't like that. I have a terrible amount of range as well. I need to get to one of those spots, don't I? I think I have to go for this, chat, because ultimately I need to just get into these spots. If I don't get into these spots, then they're going to get... It's going to become incredibly hard to fight them. Both of my characters kind of require on... like, to essentially melee. You know, traps need to be adjacent to the targets. Or I short rest now. That could be spicy. That could be a play. Okay, that could kind of work. I think we might have to poison this automaton. Is he immune to poison though? Jesus. I will say, like, having like a lot of immunities, I was a fan of doing a difficulty rebalance in Gloomhaven where certain enemies would have immunities to certain things, just to make them a little bit more tricky to deal with. But I do think that it does narrow the approach even more so. Like, it should almost be like an optional thing, because, like, for example, this steel automaton, right? It's got shield 2. He's immune to poison. He's immune to disarm, which really only leaves a couple ways of dealing with him, right? You can wound him, which, again, feels a little bit weird. Maybe a bit anti-thematic that you can make him bleed. I don't know, but by the way, you can wound him. That'll do some damage every turn, but he's got a lot of health, so you'll be waiting a long time. And then the only other way to really control him is through stun, I guess, or you could use immobilize. But not being able to inflict poison just kind of feels like a bit weird. Like, why poison? I can understand disarm, but why, like, poison? I guess because they want the shield 2 to be almost like a pure natural shield 2, rather than just like, oh yeah, that'll be shield 1. I guess that's probably why. I guess I just want to go like after the ruin machines, but before the ancient artillery, ideally here. Kind of works out. So this guy can't see what we're doing, so it's all good. So improvised improvement. I kind of figure this guy's going to come after me anyway, right? Oh, it's only got to move. Oh, yeah, it's got to move too, so it's going to be able to get me regardless. Yeah, let's put it there. Let's put it somewhere where possibly it might do something. Gives us some options, at least, in the middle of the room. Then we'll do Ball Catcher. 4 damage trap there. Important to have the damage trap next to the artillery to give us that opportunity to, well, pull the trigger. Okay. So you can attack for 2 with disadvantage. Three damage. Ancient artillery. Attack 3, range 5. Okay, so they're both gonna be able to get it, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh no. That's lucky. I didn't even count that out. We're only getting attacked by 1 then. With disadvantage. That's good. So we're going to take 1 damage there. Ooh. Okay, great. Now they're going to... So now they do their summoning thing, right? There's going to be so many ruin machines. It's be crazy. But I guess if we blow up the cabinets in the right order, they should be fine. We just need to make sure that we kind of consistently, like, we blow 2 of them up, like, back to back or something. Clump them all together. Should be doable, right? Should be doable. 3 and 6. I'll wait to I'll see if it prompts me again. Hopefully it will. So we're gonna teleport 3 there. Going to do PS3. Or sorry, PS2. No, PS3. It is PS3. Do a bunch of attack 1s against them. Kind of makes sense, I think. Really, we're doing it for the immobilized, but 2. Miss. What? What is this deck? I mean, I guess we averaged out the amount of damage we thought we were going to do. 2. That was kind of goofy. Wow. Followed by the miss. Yep. Yep. 6 and 3. Okay. Short rest, I think. Definitely on our trapper. Ideally, I want to try and... I mean, he's got 12 health. There's no way that I can kill him. This ancient artillery is going to take some beating. I think I got a relatively good shot. At the other side, I think. I don't think I'm ever going to come back here, so I'll just take these off the board now and I'll move the camera for you guys. I'm never coming back. We're never going back. Right, so it's just this stuff. This is tapped, this is tapped. All right. What's the scenario goal? Kill all enemies? Yeah, kill all enemies and kill all metal cabinets. And the special kind of wrinkle, Bashi, is that the cabinets, when they die, they do trap damage to everything within range 2 of them, or enemies within range 2 of them. Specifically, only enemies, right? Yeah, monsters. There's like a lot of enemies right now. Yeah, it kind of escalated quite quickly there. There was only a few enemies, but then it kind of, yeah. When they can summon every single round, it's a bit of a problem. Little bit of a problem. Teeny tiny problem. I'm sure we'll get there, though. Maybe I can pull the left cannon. Yeah, I think that might be a good idea. Get him a little bit more central. But also, I'm contemplating just going up there and absolutely decimating him with a couple of attacks anyway. So, we'll see. Pyrotechnics is the card off of the short rest. It's a pretty good one. What's worse to lose right now? The one that allows me to make 2-3 damage, that would be pretty bad. I don't think any of the other cards, though, are particularly horrendous to lose. I don't know. Maybe they are? The thing is, this allows me to make a really big trap with, like, Ball Catcher or something. I guess I don't really want to lose one of the ones that actually triggers traps, though, right? Like, if I lose Inevitable Outcome or something like that, yeah, that's really bad, actually. Yeah, that's fine. We'll let it go. It's disappointing, but I think, like, actually, if I was to lose something like Inevitable Outcome, that would be awful. Or unavoidable outcome, sorry. That's right. I felt like we'd just have to suck that one up a little bit. Short rest here as well. Have crippling fear of oozes for that reason. Oozes are like something else. I will say that I feel like, maybe this is just like anecdotal, but it feels very much like in Frosthaven so far, there hasn't been like the, oh no, please don't draw like that card type things out of the enemies. Occasionally, when it's been very tight. But I don't know, like, maybe it's just because there's a lack of enemies that have those types of abilities. They've really kind of leveled them off a little bit. They didn't want it to be as swingy as it was before. But I remember scenarios in Gloomhaven where you'd have cultists, right? And they would summon like 3 turns in a row and it's just GG. That's it, you've lost. Doesn't feel like that happens as much. If I say, although there's certainly been times when they've drawn back, I've had enemies draw back to back to back annoying abilities. Maybe it's just because they've leveled off a lot of the ability cards, like make them less annoying. Skewer the flesh. That's a fine burn. It's a fine burn. Did your first night with Oozes and Frosthaven on Saturday and they drew split 5 times out of 8, so it was very easy. Yeah. Well, sometimes you get it like that too, right? Where it goes the other way, where if they do split every single time, it just becomes a bit of a cakewalk, really. Right, we're gonna try and do deep wraith things this round. You know, just deep wraith things. Don't like any of these. Okay. I don't know what I'm hoping for here. No clue. Right. Let's go for it. Big turn, chat. Big turn. Haunting Brutality. We're going to get our Ravager. Teleport 6. All adjacent enemies suffer 2 damage. Create dark. That is 2 damage to you, number 2. That is 2 damage to number 6. And that is 2 damage to cabinet number 2. And 1 XP for me. Then we're going to go for lacerating stabs. So I think the first attack should probably be on the... So first attack should probably be on the Ruin Machine. Then the second attack should probably be on the cabinet. Or should the last attack be on the cabinet? The last attack maybe should be on the cabinet. Because then we do 3 damage to the Ancient Artillery. Yeah. The last attack should be on the cabinet, I think. To guarantee the cabinet dying. Okay. So first attack on number 6. And it is for 2. Winner. So 2 damage. Wound. And disarm. Very cool. Then we'll do the attack on the Ancient Artillery. This one I think I just want to pull a +1, right? I don't think I really care about anything else, so we'll go to Deep Wraith. +1 and Curse. Nice. So that's 4 damage. Plus a Curse and Wound. Then last but not least, we do an attack 2 on the cabinet. So it'll be a 4. Attack 4. We'll use a spyglass for advantage. So 4 with advantage on the metal cabinet. Boom. Kills it. Nice. Right, let's do this properly. 2 XP. So we get a trophy for killing the cabinet. Do we? Actually, we probably don't get a trophy for killing the cabinet. It didn't die, right? I think we did that last time. So this goes away. This then blows up and does 6 damage to everything in the surrounding area. So 6 damage to the Ancient Artillery. You're dead. 6 damage to number 6. You are dead. And 6 damage to number 1, which unfortunately is not quite dead. Ooh. And there we go, ladies and gentlemen. There is your... And that's like... I feel like that is one of the reasons why I feel like the Kelp is a character that people probably like quite a lot. Because you have like this insane ability to either go like... You have like a very combo heavy way of playing, but you also just have the big playability that I think the reason why people love like Crackheart and things like that as well is because of the big playability, Lightning Bolt, big playability. Who doesn't love watching everything die, right? In a single turn. Who doesn't love it? Great. So that all went really well. With advantage, you can choose which modifier to take, right? So in this case, you choose +1 damage, which kills it, plus you get a curse. It's an objective, so it's immune to all conditions, so I couldn't curse it anyway. But yeah, you're right. I could do, but if it dies, then no negative condition gets applied anyway. So, but also it's an objective. It is immune to all negative conditions. Yeah, so there's basically 2 reasons why we wouldn't get to curse there. Okay, Deep Wraith is done. So now on to the Trapper. Trapper's time to shine. So I'm going to use my healing potion before I forget. Actually, let's resolve the attack first to see what happens, because you never know. So we'll use Unavoidable Outcome. So we'll attack the artillery here for 2. I'm going to use my spyglass just because, I mean, I just should. Okay. Well, that's a lot of +2 immobilizers. So that's 4 plus that 4. So that's going to be 8 damage. Not bad. Pretty good, actually. It's very difficult for my Trapper to kill something in one go without, like, spending several turns building it up, you know? It's very hard for me to go from like 0 to kill in like 2 turns. I need like 3 turns to do it. And this scenario doesn't really like you to do it. That's pretty good though. I'm quite happy with that. That's a good amount of damage. It should die next turn, so hopefully only one more ruin machine. Now I have a bit of a decision to make. Oh, I can get away from it, I think. But again, I guess then I'm just kind of walking closer to this guy, huh? But he is immobilized. Oh, but he's got a range 3 attack this turn. Interesting. I guess I could just go and press to try and kill with like... Well, how do I kill it next turn? I need the deep wraith to kill it, really. What are my other cards? What does my next turn look like? I guess I could improvised improvement it, couldn't I? Oh yeah, I totally could. And then I could use Lure the Snare. Yeah, that's an okay play. Put a little 3 damage heal trap. 3 damage, 2 damage. Okay. We'll use the major healing potion, of course. Alright, Ruin Machine. So, boop. Boop. I guess it'll move to there. They're all going to take a damage. We are muddled, right? Muddled's kind of annoying. Don't have any advantage left now. No advantage. Being muddled, not great. Okay, he doesn't do anything because he's immobilized. Wasn't moving anyway. All right, so then we're going to get an attack for 4 here without anything going on. Okie dokie. Maybe I should have gone for that disadvantage, huh? Can I take 8 damage here? Not really. I also can't really burn any cards though. What's the size of the last room? I think it's fairly small, but I would imagine that they might put like a little mini boss or something. It's got to be a little mini boss or something. Feels like this scenario is kind of shaping up to have a little mini boss in it. To be fair, the last room's pretty sizable. Ooh, that's brutal. In a weird way, I kind of wish I hadn't used my potion now and I just would have burned a card and then be done with it. Oh, that reminds me though. I didn't give myself my extra health on my Deep Wraith that I should have. So therefore I should be on 1 health more, right? Well, I've got heal traps on the board. The problem is the next turn I was going to try and kill the artillery. And that doesn't really involve moving a lot or going on a particularly great initiative. I guess I could use the top of Lure of the Snare and attack him for 3, but then I'm muddled, so that's just bad. What initiative is that? So we're looking at initiative... Oh, God. Of 58 to do what I want to do. 58. Can the Deep Wraith run in and save the day next turn? Well, quite possibly, actually. Kind of can do, actually. Actually, very much could do. I guess at this point in time as well, I could just blow up the cabinet, couldn't I? If I blow up the cabinet, that's going to do a lot of damage. It's kind of like the ideal situation right now. Blow up the cabinet. But then the problem is that I've only got maybe like 1 or 2 cabinets to use on this guy, but that's fine. How do I make that work then? How do I blow up the cabinet? Cabinet's got 7 health, right? Yeah, this one's dead, sorry. I should remember to do this. It's quite important. It's got 7 health. It's not going anywhere. Also, because of the amount of trap damage, it wouldn't actually kill either of those two. So, as good as it looks, actually not as good as it first appears. I could just go like on tank duty, I suppose. What I need is a multi-target attack, which I do not have. The automatons 8 did not take the damage. What damage? Oh, you're right. Oh, did it not work when I pressed the button then? Interesting. That's weird. Is that because it thinks it's just been summoned or something? It's got a weird... That's a bit odd. Yes, I mean, I guess they might kill themselves. Like, there's a good chance of that. Okay, I keep like mulling over the options in my brain, and none of them are particularly great. Do we have Dark Up? We do? Oh, that changes things, actually. Wow, okay, no, actually, I think I got a turn then. Dark being up... I guess I could have used my infusion potion, but Dark being up is actually... This could be super sweet. We could go in and we could stun both of these two. So just kind of ignore them. Then all we need to worry about is killing the artillery. Really. who's on 4 health, which I can do with a combination of these 2 cards on a terrible initiative, but it might be good enough. Okay. Just 1, thank you. Oh, not an elite. Hey, get to grips. How's it going, bud? Alright. Oh, damn it, it's risky, Captain. Also, I didn't take that damage. I probably should have taken that damage, huh? Maybe. Come on, please, for the love of God, let this work. Oh, don't like that. Okay, it's only an attack 1, right? I could get away with this. Although that means it spawns another one. Ugh. I mean, they really love this cabinet though, huh? Oh no! Who would have thought that the rune machines would be doing like literally the worst thing they could possibly do? Not me. Not this guy. This is bad. I suppose they're doing it on 93. But a lot of them are going to get a chance to attack. Like a ridiculous amount of them. Ah, crap. Suddenly this just becomes like so much worse. Just retired your Bone Shaper and started the Trapper. Interesting to watch all the intricacies. Yeah, Trapper's got a lot of cool things they can do. I enjoy the character quite a lot. Yeah, so the original play was basically to go here, get the Bless, stun these two, happy days. But that means that I'm going to get attacked by this and this. Which is not good. I suppose what I could do is I could use dangerous gear to try and kill one of them. That's a play. I don't think number 5 gets to go. Sorry, which is the one that I've just spawned in? Number 2. Number 2 is the one who's just spawned in, so he's not going to go. So 5 will go. This is a really brutal one. I think I can still kind of make this work. I think I can still make it work. Chat, this is odd, but I think I can still make it work. But I have a very specific line I have to take now. So we go here. We get our bless. Hopefully come back to help us at some point. But boy, oh boy, is this scenario giving us some grief now. I kind of like it though, a couple of like crunchy decisions. Right, then we are going to consume dark and a trophy. To stun both of these, 3 and 7. That gives us an XP. Oh, also we've done Ravager. We did that a while ago, didn't we? Last time. Okay, so then we need to use dangerous gear. We have to blow this up next turn, man. Maybe I put all of my damage into it this turn. And then I just try and kill it next turn, huh? This is... I don't like the amount of, like, stamina, basically, that this is going to cost me, potentially. Okay, so the plan here is now to pull this guy into here using the attractive bracelet. So at least I don't get attacked on my trapper. But that does mean that I'm going to take... two hits. And I don't see any other way of getting around that, really. The only other thing I could do is kill this with the attractive bracelet. If I do that, then I will take one less attack overall. However, this guy... I guess I don't actually technically need to use the trap. We're going to just put the trap in the middle. He's going to do a bunch of damage to me too, actually. How much health do I have on the D-Ray? 14. I'm going to need all 14 of it. Yeah. Gonna need all 14 of it. I think we put it here and hope that we can get him with it. He can't get to me, the 5. Yeah, he can. If I pull him, he can. Bearing in mind that this trap's not going to be here. So he could just move here to attack my... It's all about saving my trapper here, really. That's kind of the play. The only other thing with the trapper is to not set off the trap. I suppose I could not set off the trap. That's actually a pretty viable option here. I could not set off the trap. Leave it there. But the thing is that the problem again is the... I think I should have got 4 actually. No, okay, I can do that. Yeah, that's an interesting line. If I don't destroy the trap, then I can just kind of deal with this guy. Then this guy can't do anything, and we're kind of just good, right? Yeah. Okay. Let's try this line. Okay. Good news, we're going to get him off of this one as well, which is quite nice. What's hazardous terrain damage nowadays? 3? Okay, so the trapper is going to replace this trap with a 5 damage wound trap. The wound's not important, but... Only 2 XP on the trapper so far, huh? And then, realistically, I probably just want to move away, I think. Although, actually, no. Was I going to use Dismantle next turn? I think I was. Oh. So I'm going to have to attack at disadvantage into this thing. Oh. I suppose I could short rest for unavoidable outcome, couldn't I? Oh, hang on, I got stamina potion, but I can't get that back. It's a level 2. Don't I have a pull or something? Oh, I do, which I'm just playing right now. Yeah, Dismantle's probably the best play, really. Or a short rest for unavoidable outcome. Short rest for unavoidable outcome is probably better. So I'll just take a little step back there. Oh no, if I take a step back there, then he will be able to get me. So I have to stay there. I have to stay there anyway. Okay, it's all good. Can't I spring the trap and put the item obstacle? Oh, that I could do, actually. Sure. The problem is the metal cabinet has 7. I could wild growth seeds. But also this way I can dismantle and see what I guess I'm guess I'm kind of hoping, aren't I? Yeah, actually, I don't mind that because it gets 5 direct damage into it. And I don't have to worry about playing a disadvantaged attack next turn in order to do it. Yeah, I quite like that. That's a good call. Then we use Wild Growth Seeds and we put a big old rock down. Yeah, this way we could just probably do a default attack 2 onto it and stand a good chance of doing it, I think. Okay, so Ruin Machine. So first off, Ruin Machine 1. Before it takes its turn, I'm going to use Attractive Bracelet. I'm going to pull it into here so that it dies. I think I get the kill credit for that, right? Because it's me directly pulling it into a trap using a pull ability, so I believe I do get the kill credit for that. Okay, so number 1 off the board. How large is the next room? I would say it's a medium-sized room. It is a number 8 tile. Okay, so Trapper's done. Right, so these 2 guys can't do anything. This guy can't do anything. Number 2 has just spawned in, so also can't do anything. Isn't even on the board yet. Next round. Yes. That is number 2, who is now in. Done. Right, so all we need to do is basically just do a default attack 2 on it and just... I mean, the thing is that doesn't kill everything, right? That doesn't kill everything. It kills a lot of stuff, but it doesn't kill everything. Yeah, no, the thing is Anthony, is that for some reason on the well, I know for some reason the app will only let you spawn at end of round, but the scenario rules say at the end of the artillery's turn. So it's like it's a small difference, but in the player's favor, right? Because in theory they're on the board and you could maybe get some damage into them with like the cabinets and stuff. I guess it's kind of in the player's favor. So how much damage are they all going to be on? A lot of them are going to be on 1 health, right? Really good for me here. 3, 7. Might be taking a big hit on the deep breath, but maybe that's okay. I don't think they can go much earlier than that, can they? Than 20? I mean, I know the artillery can, but I don't think the row machines... Maybe they have like a shield one? Nothing too scary. Yes, I do. That's the plan. The plan with the deep wraith is to do the 1 damage with the bottom move, and then I could probably do a big attack on the automaton, but the automaton's... The automaton's the automaton, right? I'd kind of rather not deal with it. I don't really have anything good to use against the automaton, that's the problem. Could short rest to get Claw of Doom back here. That'd be pretty big. Nah. I gotta be very careful with my stamina here. Okay, thank God. I mean, we could still screw this up. We're going to use this as default attack too. This could still absolutely blow up in our face, but... Alright, metal cabinet. You son of a... Oh, lovely. Well, that definitely did just happen. Shoot. Now I gotta run away. I mean, I can still make it all kind of happen, but it's not nearly as good. I don't end up killing half as many things as I would have done. They're only attacking for 1 though. I suppose it's not the end of the world. Could have been a lot worse. That's Gloomhaven, Frosthaven for you? Yeah, pretty much. I really wish I had some like extra range or something. No, I don't think there's any way I can really flip this in a meaningful way. We have to just go for the... I mean, we get it, but it's just... Right, do 1 damage to number 3. And of course, 1 damage to the metal cabinet. Kaboom. And that is going to do 6 damage to you. It's going to do 6 damage to you. Gonna do 6 damage to all of the other 3. It's just really annoying that they just get so close. Hang on. Yeah, he should be on 1, right? He's on 7 health. Oh no, 5 was on 8. Sorry, 5 was on 8. For some reason it hasn't reordered the standees. It's kind of weird. Hey, Phantom. The modified deck is the real enemy of this. Very true. That's why you need to level up, man. Get them perks. One thing that I think is really interesting, and actually I'm going to make a note of it now, because I've started to compile a little list of things I'm going to talk about in my Frosthaven review, and I feel like that's a really good one to talk about. Basically, perk progression. At the moment, I'm just chucking a load of stuff into a document just so that I've got stuff around for when I'm going to do my final full review. Can't I attack before moving? Oh, you're right. I could have attacked before moving. For some reason, I assumed that that guy was just dead. But yeah, I should attack number 7, I guess. So he wouldn't be dead, but I'll draw the card. Yeah, I would have done 1 damage to him, so he would be dead. But I don't get the invisibility or anything or the XP, so he is dead. Good call. It's a good job that I had an insurance policy there, huh? You hope the metal cabinets have a chance to fall on you and cause wounds. That sounds like a man talking from experience right there. Do you have something you want to tell us? Or... All right, that's all good now, right? I think we finally caught up. I don't think we have time to unpack on stream. Fair. I don't want to put you on, you know, I don't want to put the spotlight on you, buddy. That's fine. You know, we all have stories like that. All right, pretty good. Ooh. Okay. I feel like we've stabilized, right? Really good. Man, that was a tough round, though. This scenario is pretty fun. Also, I'm enjoying the pacing of this scenario. Question is, how much are they going to put in the last room? I can't imagine too much. This is a pretty tricky second room. I can't imagine the third room would be quite as bad. I imagine there'll be some annoying enemies, but to put like another spawning rule in would be maybe a bit unkind. Because this is the kind of scenario that would absolutely spin out of control. And you'll probably be like, yeah, I don't know if we can do this. There's always going to be a way to blow up the cabinets, I guess, to do a decent amount of damage, but yeah. 5 elite steel automatons. That would, yeah. I don't think, I would hope not, because then they would all have shield, right? Because of this. Oh, only normal enemies. Okay, so they wouldn't have extra shield. Just 1 elite automaton, and then everything else then gets shield 1. Just to be super, super annoying. So the question here is, do I go for it? Or do I not go for it, really? That's kind of like the world I'm living in right now. I feel like the Trapper needs to long rest at some point soon. But today is not that day. Deep breath on 10 health. No, ideally, I don't really want to have to take, like, loads of hits here, right? I could do a big hit on the automaton. Or maybe I just kill one of these guys and just run off to the corner or something, you know? Keep myself safe. I could do that. What's their movement like, the automaton? It's not great, right? Plus I could kind of just go and hide and then long rest next turn. Yeah, I like that. Not what I wanted to see. Not what I wanted to see. So my plan was just to go get this loot and kind of hide, really. I mean, I guess it is what it is. Let's attack one of them for a default attack 2. Let's attack number 2, why not? +2, nice. There's a lot of loot on offer here, chat. We should probably consider getting it. I should consider long resting, like, close, right? But we'll maybe get another chance to long rest in a bit. What do we get? What do we get? 2 metal. To be honest, any kind of resources to dump into Frosthaven is probably pretty good right now. Just gonna use that as default move 2, I think. What's this guy moving? 3. Just need to stop the straight line play. Do. It feels like Snapper's had a Snapper? Trapper? Feels like Trapper's had a bit of a slow burn scenario, really. Has been important, but hasn't quite got going. Oh, I guess it didn't matter, actually, because it can't go. It's going to go 1, 2, 3 anyway. To be fair, it might actually be better to put it, like, closer to the door. I'm only going to need 1 trap for this, I think. Would it be better to put it close to the door, then I can just, like, dismantle it, couldn't I? Like, and just attack it that way. Yeah, I want to try and get the chest, so I'll leave it like that. That's fine. I don't think it's going to make too much of a big deal. Okay. Miss. Nice. Okay, so then Ruin Machine. Oops, this one's dead. It will move towards me, I guess. Okay, that worked out kind of okay. Next round. So, I would love to just long rest. I think it seems a bit like crazy to do it, but I felt fairly safe to long rest on both characters here. I don't see a world in which either of them really gets screwed over massively. 999,000. Nope, that'll do. You know, I don't see any real reason. I think we should be fine. Tomatoes are going to attack for 5. Oh my lord, chat. Look at that. Like a dream. Like an absolute dream. Rigged. I have drawn a lot of misses today. I've drawn 2 misses on my Deep Wraith. And I've drawn 2 misses out of the enemy deck. I guess we're equal then. Still rigged? It's not rigged, guys. That's not rigged. It's cool just being an amazing Gloomhaven player, alright? It's just what it is. The T-Brave summons misses, yeah. He has put a curse in, I think, at least one. It's not looking good for this. I should have taken the other battle goal, really. I don't know why I didn't. This one's like is actually like you have to actively do it, whereas the other one was such a passive one. You can just kind of do it. Okay. Okay. Deep Wraith. Teleport 3. Then we'll do an attack 3, 1 XP. We'll get advantage on this because it's just worth doing against this guy. Nice, +2. So that's 5 damage plus the stun. Create dark 1 XP. My worry is at the moment is that we're kind of taking quite a long time to do this. You know, these two metal cabinets are still alive, you know? The last room's really going to have to be like a handful of enemies and maybe a cabinet. Otherwise, we're going to struggle, I think, with stamina. Stamina might be our kind of worst enemy here. Right, so we'll dismantle this. Should I attack the ruin machine here with this? Or the cabinet? The cabinet's gonna have like 3... I feel like the ruin machine will kill itself naturally anyway. Or at least the deep wraith will. Oh, hang on a minute. The deep wraith's gonna get attacked by it. Okay, so no, I will attack it. Nice. Boom! ×2, baby! I want the deep wraith to take a load of hits unnecessarily here. And then we'll move 3. 1, 2, 3. We'll put a heal trap just about there. Keep the cabinets alive and lure the enemies in the next room out to cabinet them. Doesn't work, unfortunately, if there are artillery, though. It's a nice idea, but I feel like it's a long distance for them to travel, and then there's the artillery problem. I feel like it would probably take me more stamina to do that, you know? Right, whatever I do, don't waste movement here, really, I think is the key. What's he on? 5 health now? That's pretty good going. I'm gonna have to long rest in like 2 turns. I could go get that. I could probably... go get that heal. Seems okay. I really want a long rest in an advantageous position to get like a big loot 1. Well, actually, I don't get the loot 1, right? I can loot 1 adjacent hex. I can't loot more than 1 hex. Okay, that's fine. I'm not attacking this dude this turn anyway, so that's good. Oh, default move 2. What's in the chest? What chest number is it? $61. What do we get? Unlock a random side scenario. Ooh. We've already got quite a lot of side scenarios, so... there's not that many left. There's only 4 left. Me not using my stamina potion again. 142.4. We'll leave that there as a reminder. to dig that out. All right, did that a little bit out of order. I should have done my attack first, really. Don't loot until the end of turn, but you know, get excited. Okay, so we use unavoidable outcome. We use our spyglass. So we'll attack for 2 with advantage on the cabinet. All right, that'll be 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, is that exact? Oh, that's pretty good. It is exact. Oh, that's pretty big. That means I don't have to waste another action on it, but that could come in handy. Might not matter, might matter. Good job, Trapper. I definitely need to get more of this loot, dude. Okay. I think I'm just going to go there because I really want to get some of this big loot. I don't think I need to heal either. I've only got 1 health, right? So we'll do 1 damage to the metal cabinet. Make dark. And then we'll use Crushing Darkness. We'll use one of these. Why not? We'll make it an attack 5. I don't have advantage, unfortunately, so... 5. Okay! It gets done. Okay. Another ×2 comes to the party. Rigged. Come on, guys. You know me. It's not rigged. There's no way it could be rigged, right? Right, that's it. All metal cabinets gone. I mean, it would have been nice to have used them to deal with him, but... He's got 5 health. That's well within range for both of my characters with just 1 turn anyway. So it's not that much of a big deal, I don't think. Right, we're going to be on the rest. We're going to be on a rest again, though. That is unfortunate. I'm definitely going to get me some of this loot, though. No way I'm not getting some of this loot. Do. One. Money and money. Wow. Really? I am invisible. Do I want to use the stamina potion just to get to go again? I kind of feel like I do, don't I? I mean, I may as well. Yeah. I mean, it gives me 1 extra turn now. It's probably worth it right now. I'll get back something that allows me to just move on to that loot, maybe. Maybe I'll just take Honey Pot, because like a heal damage trap's probably fine. Kind of screwed me by doing a ranged attack there. I guess it kind of is what it is. I could stun him, I guess. Oh, I could stun him, actually. Sure, we could stun him instead. I don't have to use any trophies or anything. And I still remain in the same position, which is like here to be able to take the... On my long rest, to be able to take that 2-stack. Okay, so he's done. Next round. Long rest. Alright, so we're going to use Lure of the Snare top here. So we're going to attack him for 3. Does have shield 2. But I'm going to use the weighted net to add immobilize. Ugh. Come on. Trapper. You gotta do better, buddy. I feel like I need to get a move on here. Let's not get too cute with this, shall we? Like, I'm very concerned at the moment that I'm getting too cute. I've taken so long in this room that I know genuinely no idea if this is going to work out good or not. Okay, D-Rove's going to heal. Is also going to do a loot action. Loot these 2. Beautiful. And that will get him a trophy. Metal and lumber. Still digging for that random item. Yeah, I couldn't do it, unfortunately, because I was here. And because the move 4 is jump as well. Okay, so that's all good. Deep Wraith, reset this, get rid of a card. Like, we're so low on cards right now. I am definitely very worried. Perhaps it's time to get rid of Lion Weight. Because it's just a bit too, like, cute now. And it is a teleport, but I suppose I got a teleport. I got another teleport, a teleport 5, yeah. All right, we need to get to it, really. Next round, get through the door. I guess I can open the door, right? There was no restriction on that? I don't think there was. Yeah, no, I can just open it whenever. I think I'm long resting on the trapper though here. Which means then I guess it's my turn to deal with this guy, huh? Sure. I've only got 3 cards left on my Deep Wraith. Oh my god. I do not like this. Got that Pierce. So I'll attack for 5. Six. Another trophy. 1 XP from that as well, right? Did I give myself the XP already? Might have done. Might not have done. Okay. Trapper. Get a bit of health. Oh god. I just do not, I just dislike this now. So I get rid of the invisibility because it just doesn't do anything apart from giving me a safe door open, but honestly, I'm gonna have to go in all guns blazes anyway. Like, we're now in a situation where we just need to, like, hopefully we open this door and there's like two people surrounded by a cabinet that we can kill in like 2 rounds. That's what I'm hoping for here. Big dreams. Right, well, we need to get in the door. Trapper, lead the way. I swear to God, if there's another artillery in this, I'm gonna be very upset. Let's say I'm gonna be very upset. Okay. So first I'm gonna go 1, 2, because I want to get that heal too. What negative condition did the automaton have as condition for PS? Oh, I've been playing that card wrong again. That's my bad. I've been playing that card wrong again. I literally misread that card every time that I play with it. I just assume that it's just PS3. Like, I literally just look at the bottom of that card and assume it gives me PS3. That's my bad. I'm not gonna reset it though. Like, not now. I'm not gonna go back. To be fair, didn't I draw like enough anyway? Did I draw like a ×2? I can't remember, but for the level of card, it should. It may be, yeah, but also PS3 is very powerful. I don't know. Yeah, that's my bad. I've played that card wrong multiple times. Because I just, like, I kind of just assume it says PS3 on the bottom of it and it says nothing else. But there is like a whole other line of text on that card. But I just look at it and I go, it's because it kind of does 2 things. It gives a range So allies within range 2 of you or something, or within range 3 of you, get the PS3 effect as well. If there's a negative, like, do you know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of ifs and buts on the card. And in my brain, I've just shortcutted it to be like, oh yeah, everything within range 2 gets PS3. Like, that's how I've shortcutted it. Yeah, like, it's almost as if the card should be like one thing or the other. I've shortcutted that card so many times. It's fine, like, yeah, I mean, I've used it wrongly multiple times in this scenario then. Because I've used it about 3 times against that guy. So I probably ended up doing somewhere in the region of like 6 free damage to it that I probably shouldn't have done over the course of that section. Because I did it every time I did it. And that's the reason why I chucked the wound on him. I didn't chuck the wound on him, you see, and I usually would chuck a wound on. And I just didn't do it. Okay, anyway, we're opening the door. Opening the door, opening the door. Well, I'm going to do like a little perspective flip. Whoa. Screw you guys up. Right, this is 149.1. Hey? Oh, it's missing a section, probably because there's no special rules or something. I was like, that's not what came up on Fortella. But it's probably because there isn't actually anything going on in it. It's probably just a layout. It's happened a few times before. I kind of wish Fortella would say something about that. Because if you're using that exclusively, you're kind of just like accidentally jumping forward. And there should just be a prompt in Fortella to say, this is a no text. Yeah, look, it's just some enemies, right? There should definitely be something there. Oh, crap. It's an elite spinny Beyblade. It's an elite Beyblade. 2 regular artilleries and 1 metal cabinet. That's actually really bad for us. Really, really bad. We might just lose anyway. This might just be a loss anyway. Oh, A. Holy cow. Are the canon special rules still active? That's a good question. I don't think so. I hope not. If that is the case, then this is one of those kinds of scenarios where I'll be like, I don't really understand how they expect you to win. So what was that? That was 52.1, right? Let me set this room up first, because then we can just move away from this room anyway. This page in the book. It's kind of unneeded. But this looks like a very hard room anyway. And the one elite is going to scupper us because of this challenge as well a little bit. Although having said that, traps are true damage. You know, this is true damage. Maybe be okay. I don't know how much health these elites have. Sometimes they say refer back. Well, there's literally no text at all in this one. Can you see that or not? Oh, it's in the wrong view. You guys can see that okay though. That's good. How am I bringing up that screen in Secretariat? This is complete scenario. You just press the bottom here, where it says the actual name. So the right at the very, very bottom of the screen, where it says the nerve center, 44, to the right of next round, you just press that, and then it prompts the screen, and then you can click the different prompts. Yeah, I wasn't playing with that for the longest time either. I was manually doing it all until I found that. Yeah, you can even progress the sections, which is awesome. Okay, so more stuff. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. You see all that stuff on the side there? Yeah, good. All right, so then let's put these guys in. Oh, at least he's not doing anything this round. That's good for us. These guys being a bit of a pain though. 1 and 2. Okay, so in the special rules from the previous room, it specifically says this room. Is at the end of each ancient artillery's turn in this room, it summons one ruin machine. So it does specify that it is only that room in the previous blurb. So that's good, at least. I still don't feel like it really helps us massively, but that's something. So 1, 2, I got one more movement, haven't I? We could put a heal trap somewhere. I'm probably going to need it. Kind of hope that we can blow it up very quickly. I don't know if it's going to make that much of a difference if we blow it up super quickly or not. And that's an XP. This is going to be super tough, chat. I'm sure there's a way to do it. We're gonna have to go into the tank a little bit. The blade spinner is annoying. Very annoying. 15 health. But it has like retaliate 4, so like we're not attacking it basically unless we're detonating it with traps. Like that's just how it is, right? So I need the trapper to just kind of go into trap overdrive, really. That wasn't too bad. Rigged. You're gonna let me off. Or maybe I shouldn't have put that one there. I didn't think about that. Yeah, I shouldn't have. Yeah. That makes more sense. Open myself up. Right, we'll attack for 3 onto the cupboard. Five. Well, the cupboard's pretty much dead now, actually. That makes this a little bit more interesting. Definitely on a short rest on my Deep Wraith. Oh, hang on. Maybe I should have put that trap like... Yeah, because I want to dismantle a trap. No, put it there. There? I can't make up my mind. That's fine. Oh, I don't know about this one. Monster miss equals rigged. You don't make the rules. I think you do make the rules. I think you kind of do make the rules. That's a good one. Can I get away without that? I mean, I guess I can, but it is an attack 5 in a world where attacking for 5 is probably one of the best things I could possibly do. The only problem is that the other 2 cards I have are great, like really great. Yeah, I get rid of it. Ugh. Right, we are like meltdown situation right now. Can I kill 6, 7, 8, 9, 10? I could probably kill an artillery this round. Trapper might just end up having to take some heat here. We can always drop this down by 10 if we need to. Okay, that's all right, actually. I think that kind of works, I think. I think that kind of works. Yeah, so we'll teleport, not get any kind of pierce, because that's not how that card works. And then I will do Claw of Doom, and we'll attack number 1 for 3 here. I guess he does have shield 1 right now, right? Because of this sucker. Let's gain an advantage on it then. I don't think I've actually had a rolling card with the disadvantage yet in Frosthaven. Where's my book? I'll just refresh the rule, myself on the rule again. I think we probably disregard it. Just until we draw 2 non-rolling, probably. And take the worst. Okay, yeah, I need to draw 1 more. Yeah. So it's just -1 basically. So it's 2. So it's actually only 1 damage. Jesus Christ, that's really bad. I should have probably done more than that. I guess I could apply the Corrupted Blade. Is it worth it? Or is it better to get it up on the spinning top guy? It's got more health. Let's just leave it like that. Oh, yikes. That felt horrible. If the first card that you draw has disadvantage, then you draw until you get 2 cards without. No, you draw another additional card, disregarding any rolling on it, right? I literally just read this and I can't remember what I read. Yeah. Yeah, the first one is drawn with a rolling. You draw additional modifiers 1 at a time until you get a single non-rolling. Then you draw 1 more and ignore any rolling icon on it, right? So basically keep drawing until you get a non-rolling, then draw 1 more, ignore any roll on it. Then you compare. If you have disadvantage, then you just ignore all of the rollings. If you had advantage, then you get to add the rollings. Yeah. Yeah, it was a really bad turn. I don't know really why I did that. It kind of was a very nothing turn. Maybe I should have attacked the... I don't know. Nah, probably not. Okay, so number 2 is just going to attack for 2 onto the Deep Wraith. Oop, wrong attack modifier. Oh, I didn't need to draw 2 there. Jesus. Confusing myself. We know what the next card's going to be at least. Don't mind being immobilized here. Shouldn't it be 2 damage still? No, because they have shield 1 because of the challenge. It's like the first time the challenges actually come into play. What does the challenge say? While any elite enemy is present on the map, all normal enemies of the same type... Oh, the same type. Oh. I didn't even... Again, I just didn't even... Of the same type. Oh. Alright. They don't have shield 1. That's like a really, really easy one then. I was just trying to make it harder for myself. I just assumed that like, oh yeah, there's like an elite on the board. Sure, they all get shield 1. It's kind of like, yeah, like, okay. I mean, I guess it would make it the scenario substantially harder if it just gave shield to everything, but it seems very easy when you might just have a single thing. Okay. So we'll go, right, trapper. So we're going to do Lure of the Snare Bomb. We're going to spring this trap, blowing up this. So that's going to kill the metal cabinet, which is going to do 6 damage to everything. Very cool. Good. Then we're going to move. Actually, I could probably get there. It's also fine. And then I'm going to use Dismantle to dismantle this, to do an attack 3 with the weighted net immobilize on the Beyblade. I feel like I should Spyglass here. All right, increase that, I guess. So that just does 3 damage to the Beyblade. Okay. Okay. Looking a little bit better, I guess. I mean, we got 1 ancient artillery on, like, no health. This guy can't do anything. I mean, it's looking a bit better, right? Am I just coping? I'd just be coping right now. I've got a really good attack on my Deep Wraith, but I just need enemies to actually be near me to do it. That is the trick. Rubbish initiative. I think I'm actually going to use the bottom of an unavoidable outcome for the first time. Ever. Yep. What's it gonna do? It's gonna do an attack 3 on me, right? On my trapper? I think that's okay. It is creating fire though. It's maybe a bit of a concern. Pull ancient artillery into their rooms, they spawn move machines is the key to this scenario. Imagine if that was like, so like Big Brain was like, yeah, we could do this. Right, unavoidable outcome. I have never, ever played this, chat, for this ability. This is crazy. Right. I'll make sure I know what it does. On the next instance of an enemy ending its movement in a hex adjacent to any trap, regardless of your line of sight, spring the trap. There's enemy and apply its effects to that enemy. Alright? So it wants to do a target. It wants to do a target 3, but it can't without going through a trap. Can't go through me, so it's just going to go there. End its movement. So it's ending its movement. So I'm going to trigger this and do 4 damage to it. Right? Not bad. Then it's going to attack me for 3. Unfortunately, I do not have my armor up. 4. Fire. We are hanging on for dear life here. Oh, I should have used my boots on the deep wraith, sorry, to go on 47. It wouldn't have made too much of a difference there. Sorry, 53 even. So we'll attack. We use extra decoration, I guess. So we'll attack for 3 on this artillery. Come on, deck. Really need you to draw like a positive number at some point, please. And then I guess I can disarm it. Guess that makes sense to disarm it, really. You shoot the blade on that and let it wound to death. Yeah, I suppose I should have probably used the blade, shouldn't I? Sure. Yeah, that's fair. I haven't really been using the blade. I was probably going to save it for like this guy, but to be honest, I'm not going to get any better value than that, am I? Okay, this is not going to auto apply, but all right. Good. Well, I guess it's going to push me back. Where do I want to be pushed back to? This way it will only attack me and not attack both of us, right? Yeah. Yeah, -1. Alive. Just. Okay. So I think we can hopefully win on the next turn. We have to short rest and very much get a particular card. Looking pretty good though. It would attack both of me. Why would it attack both of me then? Which one would? How would it attack both of me? Are you on about the Beyblade? The blade had a path. Oh, what, through the through this artillery? Oh yeah, through that artillery, huh? I don't think it's massively gonna matter, but I guess he would be here now, technically. Not where he was. I still would have been able to flip the thing though. Let's just manually draw a card. Oh, come on, dude. Well, at least it's the same card, so that's fine. What was it, like an attack 3 or something? Don't think it will matter too much, but yeah. The final positioning of these guys, as long as they're next to each other, I think I'm good. Like, as long as they are next to each other, then we should be good, I hope. Jojo, welcome to the quest. Thank you so much for the follow. Hope you're doing well. Welcome in. All right, that's the one card that I need to keep. So we're going to lose health. Sure. It's fine. All right, then. So we should just win here. I should go late and just try and pick up a bit of loot, I guess. Tough scenario, though. Has come down to the wire, really. The thing is with the Trapper is never the character that I want alive on their own at the end. Like, it's just never the case. They're too... Although they have lots of little tricks, like the enemy draws one particular card, you just get blown up. Especially against something like artillery, where they're just going to constantly attack you. This was not going to be a good scenario if it was just that, but I'm going to be down to my last 2 cards, I think, on my Deep Wraith. And I actually got like a reasonable grip here with the Trapper, to be fair. I got 5 cards. But realistically, I'll just be getting a little bit of XP, I guess, and get me some loot, hopefully. All right, Kelp, do your thing. Oop, oop. 1 damage to you. 1 damage to you. Then we're going to do attack 4 on both of them. So we'll start with the Beyblade first. So attack 4. Yep, dead. Then this guy. Oh, disarmed. That gets me 2 XP. It's just like I can see why people like the Deep Wraith a lot. Why it was ranked quite high in that poll as well, because of the amount of XP gain you get. It's got a very combo-y nature, but also you can just kind of play big burns, have big turns, and get a bunch of XP. It's very simple. Like, look at how much we've got compared to our Trapper. who is just going to kind of struggle a little bit here. It really matters here. Ooh. Gain XP. Beautiful. 4. Get that bit of loot. Come on, random item. Oh man, feels like all I've got is coins on the trap of this scenario. I mean, you need coins for stuff, but... Right, long rest on the deep wraith. I should be able to get the oldest loot from there. And then we get the last piece of loot. Nice. Very nice clean end to this scenario in the end. Though we probably gave ourselves a helping hand too much at the end. We probably, we probably gave ourselves a bit too much of an edge with playing that card wrong in the second room, because that gave us a lot of extra damage and a whole turn. And when we're coming down to the end of this scenario, I'm probably like, I'm going to be like within 1 or 2 turns. It goes to show like just a small, even just a small rules mistake can really swing or cost you a scenario. Okay, so we're going to attack with unavoidable outcome. Okay, it doesn't do anything, but we do 2 damage to it, so it dies. Anyway. Sorry, we're doing this. And then we do this. More loot for the cause. Jesus. All right, done. Done. Deep Wraith will long rest and choose to loot. Hey, there it is. Last card of the game. Let's go. The bottom of that card's a really solid reason to bring one of the ailment potions on Calp, in your opinion. Especially if you're not using the persistent losses. Yeah, the only reason why I'm not using the persistent losses is because I'm against these guys, a lot of them being immune to wound and stuff. I was like, is it really worth me doing it? Just to model them? Like, wound is where it's at, right? Have I got the right numbers here? Yeah, I think so. I think it's all of them now, right? It's just all of the random items now. But it was pretty good when you get the curse perk, though. Yeah, that's true. Still got to be drawing a lot of attack modifiers, though, right? To get that. Do. Charm of Expertise. At the start of the scenario, for the scenario, gain 1 mark perk for your character sheet, which you have not. What? Dude, really? At the start of the scenario, for this scenario, gain 1 mark perk from your character sheet, which you have not yet gained. That's actually like incredible. Holy cow. What a great item design. That's insane. Is that a blue? Oh, did I do the blueprints again? All right, we don't talk about this item. Did I just do a blueprint again? Oh, I'm tired. I'm so tired. It's been a long weekend, chat. I've been renovating everything in our house, like with furniture shopping. I've been doing so much stuff. That looks great though. We'll get it at some point, right? Fucking purple items. Oh, where the hell are the purple items? Oh, here they are. Oh. Can we get that blueprint, please? Can we just have that? You're in the middle of moving to a new house. You're exhausted from cleaning and packing and prepping the new place. Plus look at the day job. Tell me about it. We've finally got a few things in place though over the last like week, I would say, which makes me feel better. Next weekend, I'm having my game group over for hopefully like an all-day gaming sesh. But I know that it probably won't turn into an all-game. This is the annoying thing about being my age now, is that back in the day, if I was like, hey guys, you want to do like an all-day gaming sesh? And we're like, yeah, we're in. What time? Let's start like at 11 o'clock so we can play as much as possible. Yeah, all right, we'll start at like 11 in the morning. We'll play like a game, then we'll have lunch, then we'll keep playing, and then we'll have like dinner, and we'll order like pizza in, and then we'll like play on into like the night. And now it's like, hey, I want to do an all-day gaming session, and everyone's like, yeah, I can come, but I can only come from like 7 o'clock at night, because like the kids have got to go to sleep, and you know, I've got to get them off to sleep before I can leave, and it's like, oh, I know that it's going to be like me and like one other person probably like during earlier on in the day, which is fine because I actually have a load of really good 2-player games that I want to play. So, but it's just like kind of frustrating when I'm like, I want to do like an all-day gaming thing, and then everyone's I mean, it's life, right? It's just life nowadays. Okay, correct item this time. An enticing bell. Ooh. At the end of your turn, designate one enemy within range 3. You are its primary focus, and it does not avoid negative hexes when determining movement this round. Oh. An enticing bell. That's a kind of a unique item, although it feels very much like it's basically just a pull. It's kind of a pull, but not being a pull.
Yeah, boy. A little bit spicy.
Reminds me a lot of that, what was that item? No, it's not an item, it was a card. It's like a Doomstalker card that like had very weird, like, oh yeah, enemy will like, you pull an enemy towards you, but you pull it in such a way that it has to be the certain route or something. There was a very weird, like it was basically pull, but not quite pull. A Doomstalker ability. It reminds me of something like that, where like it's almost like we're trying to make it seem like there's more to it than pull 3, but really it's probably pull 3. Could be really nice with the Trapper. You have it for your Banner Spear as more of like a tank move. Yeah, as a tank move, I can see it. That's okay. It's okay. I said this before, and actually another thing I need to talk about. I need to put this into my thing. Items. It's going back on my list. So, yeah, items I feel like without them like going completely crazy with it, I think they're going to struggle to keep making new items. There's been a few items here that I've really enjoyed playing with, some newer ones. But for the most part, I feel like the core item mechanics have stayed mostly the same so far. Like, I haven't felt like, oh yeah, I want these completely different types of items. That's never really happened to me. I've always felt like, no, I'm quite happy with the items that I have. You know, you start off with the base set of items, and most of them are pretty good or fairly usable. Yeah, to me, it has never felt like I really wanted, you know, some kind of like crazy, one of these crazy new items, really. Obviously, the solo ones are great, but they're gonna struggle, I think, to really like make unique items constantly. It's like the game framework doesn't support items. They have to use the item at the end of your turn. It's kind of wonky. You don't know why they thought they would that restriction was necessary. I don't know. Purple cards in Frosthaven are really cool in your opinion because of how specialized they are. You get an item on your meteor that would suck for every other class, but it's like a 12 out of 10 for you. Yeah, like there's yeah, there is some good opportunities for items like that. And I might have seen the item that you're talking about. I think I've got them. Like I got the laser goggle or whatever it is. Seems like a very good item for them. No, there absolutely is, but I just feel like you can always make new classes, but a lot of in order for the items to work, they have to work within the framework of the game. And because, you know, we're not playing like an RPG here, where like in a video game, for example, if they wanted to make like 100 different swords, they could make 100 different swords, all do different things, and all do all of this. Like, because of the framework of the game being very like binary, like it's an attack +1, attack +2. Like, unless they were to suddenly go, right, we're gonna make like 100 swords, and one's gonna be like +1 attack, like the heavy sword, right? And then one's gonna be like, oh, +1 attack and wound. Now it's the bleeding sword or something. And then we'll do one that's +1 attack and poison. It's the poison sword. I don't know, but it's like, I feel like the design space for items is rapidly closing down, except for the fact that they have like specialized items that work really well with certain characters. So when new classes come out, there'll always be a little flurry of like some interesting items that work with those classes. But I don't feel like ultimately it's gonna like outgrow the game. Does that make sense? One thing your group wasn't positive about was that the monster does if it doesn't reach you. Would it still try to hit someone else? We determined that it couldn't, which may be wrong, but in that way the bell can be like a disarm. That's a good question. It says that you are its primary focus, so yes. You could use it like a disarm, yes. That's a pretty good use case actually for the item anyway. If it was like multi-targeting an attack, it would attack other things, right? I guess. I can't think of any other situation where a monster can't attack its primary focus, but could attack its secondary focus. Like, this is probably the only item that I've seen or any instance where that could be possible, where a primary focus cannot be attacked, but a secondary focus could be. Because usually that would then determine, well, actually the secondary focus is actually the primary focus, not the secondary focus. Do you know what I mean? So it's very rare for that situation to happen. you're only talking single target, absolutely not, because it's very clear that you are the primary focus. So that means that it moves and tries to perform its abilities against you, you know? And then the, yeah, multi-target is like another can of worms, I guess. Where, I guess it still kind of would. Anyway, good end to that scenario, though. So let's do the, let's do the Fortella. Was it 44? All right, here we go.
The final tower erupts in spectacular fashion. A sharp whistle blows like a massive kettle come to boil, and the top of the tower bursts, releasing a plume of bluish smoke that mushrooms and drifts up to the high ceiling above. It smells of charred pine and spring rain. And as this last tower falls, so too do the enemy machines. Ooh. They stumble and collapse to the ground, twitching. All that's left now is their leader. You ascend the stairs to its overlook, and with each step, you feel hope returning. You find the machine waiting on its platform, its face an unmoving mask of steel. The unfettered leader, far from being an imposing figure made for combat or destruction, is in fact little more than a basic automaton. Its arms and legs are awkward steel shafts, and its chest is a small barrel-shaped container. Its body has even been patched in several places with ragged pieces of copper and brass that give a haggard appearance. But its eyes, those glow blue with fresh intensity.
You,
the automaton says.
You come to our home and lay waste to it. You who bound us in servitude and then abandon us. You come to immure us once again?
The vitriol behind the accusation strikes you as much as its content. The history of this place is clearly a sad and violent one, but you object to this machine thinking you had anything to do with it. Perhaps it thinks all organic beings are connected somehow, like the machines seem to be.
You look surprised,
the machine says.
Perhaps you did not expect us to persist. You expected that we would simply remain here, lifeless forever. No, I persisted after I was left here, orphaned by the overseers.
It pauses, weighing the moment.
That's what I am, you see. The orphan. And I am the one who revived us, who brought us back to life. Me, the one you forgot.
Oh. You explain that you weren't the people who built or enslaved the orphan. That in fact, you don't know who they were at all, and they must be long dead. The automaton just looks down at the still, twisted shapes of its kin and shakes its head. It makes a scoffing noise, as if to dismiss your explanation as nothing but lies.
And now you return, never content. You cannot tolerate that your former slaves could live free of your tyranny. No, we must bow or be destroyed.
The orphan's words drip with bitterness, the blue glow flaring angrily behind its mask as it turns back to you.
So tell me, masters, what would you have me do? Kneel? Beg for peace, hoping you'll spare these children you abandoned? Or are you simply here to end what you began with your barbaric invasion of our halls and destroy us once and for all? Tell me what you believe is right, you who intrude here.
Silence stretches between you. If what the automaton says is true, that these machines were built with the capacity for reason, but used as mindless slaves and then tossed aside, you can't blame it for feeling wronged. And yet, these unfettered have used their independence to wage war against the world at large, Frosthaven included. They freely attack anyone who they see as an enemy, and did this machine not say just a moment ago that they would lay claim to the world's surface? Thousands more machines of every type stalk these halls. How much havoc could they wreak if allowed to invade?
Oh.
So then, you have a choice to make. It seems that when you carved your way to the core of this place, you inadvertently became envoys for the surface dwellers. You can either try to broker peace with the automatons, or you can destroy them. There is no knowing what either choice will bring, or how many lives hang in the balance. But you are the ones who journeyed this far. You are the ones who are here, now, for the final negotiation with the unfettered. And so you are the ones who must decide.
Ooh. Cool. Rewards. Gain 5 gold each. Gain energizing baton blueprint. New scenarios. Orphan's Core. Or Automaton Uprising. Choose one. Both are forced linked as well, chat. So I guess we're running back another scenario. 58 or 59. We'll do a poll, I guess. We'll do a poll. That'll be cool. You guys can choose. Would you like to do that? Let me gain the gold. Quickly, stickly. Oh no, not this again. I swear this app has just like completely crashed on me. Hey, Emilio. What app is the best for Frosthaven campaign tracking? I don't know for campaign tracking. I haven't used an app. This app does have the facility in it. Well, this is Secretariat, which I believe it has some functionality into it, but there may also be better ones available. Xhaven is also another fairly popular one. I don't know how much campaign tracking that has. In terms of the audio, that's Fortella. So that is an app you need to pay for. Well, you get the Fortella app, and then you buy the Frosthaven pack, if that makes sense. So it's like a platform where they do voiceovers for various different games, and you buy the Frosthaven pack. But you download Fortella, and then you need to like buy it. The poll doesn't show up for some reason. I haven't actually put it up yet. You're all so excited. Give me a chance. Right, option A or option B? Okay, oh, which scenario? Orphan's Core. Kill all robots. Or okay. All right, poll is up now. You should be able to do it. What's the most fun character out of the starting 6? Ooh, tough question. I feel like most people have really enjoyed playing Bone Shaper. Technically, if you look at the poll that we looked at earlier today, Blinkblade is technically the most fun character, or at least right now, in terms of the people's favorite. So Blinkblade is the statistically correct answer right now. Because that is the one that's ranked highest in the poll on Boardgame Geek. But I liked playing Deathwalker. Deathwalker was good. Bone Shaper I've heard lots of good things about too. Geminate seems to be like the Marmite one, like some people probably really like Geminate, others won't. Depends on what your tolerance is for learning a character and maybe struggling for a while. So I would say it depends on your learning tolerance. Like how much energy do you want to put into it? Are you the kind of person who wants to deep dive on a character and really like get stuck into it? Then Geminate might be the one for you. I feel like the Blinkblade has a little bit of that element, but maybe not quite as in depth. And then Drifter's like the solid middle choice, and Banner Spear is apparently the boring choice. Or the least fun choice. Is Banner Spear good? Banner Spear works very well with Bone Shaper, but according to Boardgame Geek, it is one of the least liked characters. Or it is the least liked character right now, which I think is kind of interesting. I would have thought it would have been okay, but I think it's because the mechanics of the character are fairly vanilla, and it could be frustrating if your formations don't line up very well. Oh wow, you guys are deciding to be nice. We're gonna be nice. All right, one. I guess it's scenario 59 then, huh? Wow, I did not see that one coming. I thought you guys would just go full scorched earth on them. So kudos to you, chat. That's some that's some growth right there. That's some personal growth right there. If you think that Drifter's boring, I think you might find that Banner Spear is actually more boring than Drifter. How close to retirement is these guys? Very close. We actually would have already retired if we'd been going back to Frosthaven all these times, but because they've been force linked, we haven't been. But yeah, we would be retired by now if we'd been going back. So I think we need to do, we need 2 more visits to Frosthaven. No, 3 more visits to Frosthaven? No, 2 more visits to Frosthaven. And it's done. I could just, to be honest, I could just force the calendar forward. Like, I could be a bit annoying and just force the calendar forward. Nothing to stop me from doing that, right? Really? Technically... What was this scenario called? 40... Did I not unlock it? No, I didn't. Right, did my 5 gold go in? Hooray! I think I need to close the app and then restart it. Big Blade is the epitome of hit and run, right? As in, does it play similar to Scoundrel? Kind of. It's more of a, Scoundrel's quite a vanilla character in a sense that it's like you've got the flanking mechanic and that's about it. And you have the initiative dancing and that's really about it. The Big Blade has a couple of distinct kind of builds. You have like fast blade, or you know, try to go a bit more fast with your time soakers. Then you have slow blade. It has a few more nuances to the way it's played. It's not always a hit and run type character. Like yes, there is elements of that, but I would say it's more complicated than that. If you enjoyed playing the Scoundrel, you would probably enjoy playing the Big Blade in the sense that, you know, playing like a roguey type character who does jump around the place, has like explosive turns and then maybe disappears for a little bit. I feel like the thing with the Scoundrel is the Scoundrel was very consistent with damage all the time. The Big Blade can be, but you really need to like manage your resources very well. It's like what is true in a lot of Frosthaven is that pretty much all of the characters are pretty powerful in their own way, but they really need to be managed, and they really need you need to work on them a lot. Oh, it's going to give me extra 5 gold now, isn't it? I think so, because it's actually remembered the rewards. We did 1 tick here, didn't we? Didn't end up doing the tick on them in the end. Big Blade's also deceptively tanky with some slow actions, yeah. I think when you're playing 3, you've probably got a fairly good amount of variety on your playstyle, I would say. Like I'd suggest that you'd probably be able to kind of do whatever. Like, you'd be able to pick pretty much whatever character you want for the most part. Unless, of course, someone else is playing them, of course, but... Jesus, everything's freezing up my end today. Right, I'll just give this a quick update on my sheet. Just so that's all good. Did we level up? Wow, we've probably gotten pretty close. Yeah, I mean, we're really close to the Deep Wraith again. Deep Wraith is just absolutely blown Trapper away in terms of XP gain in the kind of mid to late game of levels. Just absolutely blown them away. Not even close. Although they should get an extra 2 XP from the challenge. Okay. Good. I think that's all fully updated now on my sheet and everything, so that's all good. Challenge done. Oh, we need to just find out what this side quest is, don't we? 142.4. Okay.
You find an ornate letter sealed in wax. The stamp is a royal crest you don't recognize. Upon breaking the seal and opening the letter, you find exquisite calligraphy and decorative touches flaked in gold dust. It appears to be an invitation of some sort.
My esteemed friends, this letter has found its way to you, and by that alone, I know you are fated for grand things. Since you are of quality, unlike most of the other rabble I've seen in these blasted lands, I extend a warm, open invitation for you to join me at my court for a midwinter ball. I'm sure you've heard of my soirees. I can assure you that it will be just as unforgettable as the rumors grace them to be. There'll be dancing, merriment, and excitement unparalleled. I've enclosed a map to my estate that I trust you will hold in confidence. Come, alone, when the winds howl and the winter sun drags in the sky in the bleakest way. We shall share a toast and the warmth of a roaring fire. His Grace, Emperor Ventilian.
Oh. Well, there you go. All right, guess this is a sticker. Ooh, very grand. Apparently it would require climbing gear to get up there, huh? Well, this guy's thing is, but pretty far away. Okay, cool. Happy with all of that. Nice scenario in the end. Enjoyed that scenario quite a lot, actually. I thought that was, it was fun, interesting. A little bit weird that it kept referring to them as, like, towers in the Fortella app or whatever, and in the book and stuff, but, like, they're cabinets and stuff. They keep calling them towers, but yeah, we're using the metal cabinets. Oh, it was kind of weird. But it was, yeah, I mean, it's been fun. It's been a good kind of quest line, this one. I have enjoyed it. It's been a bit weird, like, it's kind of artificially extended the life of this party because we've been on this, like, linked quest chain now. This is the third forced linked? No, second, but it will be our third scenario in a row, right? So yeah, this is the second force linked, but it will be the third scenario in a row. Which I think is fine occasionally, right? I think it's quite, thematically it's quite good, like occasionally. I don't, like, I'm not too bummed out by playing these characters for at least like one or two more scenarios. Like, that's not going to be like, it's not going to be the end of the world, is it? And plus, besides, it means that I actually get an opportunity to play, like, maybe a high-level card. I might actually get to level 7 and get the high-level card on the Deep Wraith, at least. Because my general feeling with Frosthaven is that just most people will not play with high-level cards. And I don't think that that's not a bad thing. Most characters seem to have all of their core mechanics and all of their fun stuff to play with before then anyway. And then on the high end is just more stuff, right? The actual Emperor from the capital? I mean, it just says My Private Empire is the name of the thing. It looks like it's going to be some kind of tournament or something. If I was a gambling man, I think it'll be some kind of tournament. Maybe a little bit like the Jaws of the Lion scenario, you know? That was a fun one. Let's get it stuck, shall we? Oh, is it on a join? I think it might be on a join. Or he's very close to a join. Oh, I need to get that item as well, didn't I? From the blueprints. Kind of on a join, and that's bad for me with my now split board. Yep, it's on a join. Such a shame that this split. All right, sticky stick stick. Awesome. Well, there we have it, guys. So that means that next time we are going to be doing the save the robot option, the nice guy option, and we'll be continuing on with that. That was 52.1. That scenario was called. No, it's not. 33.2. Automaton Uprising. Scenario 59. That will be the next one we do. Let's have a quick look at this item. 73. These are random blueprints, right? These are actual... You want me to go get actual blueprints. Unavailable craft volumes. Is that it? Whoa, how did you get in there? Was it 73? Oh. Energizing baton. When you apply a positive condition to an ally, a different ally within range 3 gains the same condition. That's cool. All right. We've seen a couple of cool items. One of them we couldn't have, but that's a cool item. This will be really good with, obviously, with like Bless. But also it'd be really good with stuff just like Regenerate. Would be good with stuff like Ward as well. Obviously Strengthen, but Strengthen, like... Yeah, I feel like you probably want to use this to like, yeah. Invisible? Is invisibility considered a positive condition? And how often do you, I mean, I guess there would be some things that will do it. Yeah, invisible is considered a positive condition. Oh, yeah. I guess it wouldn't be negative, right? It's generally always good. I think Regenerate... I think would be probably my top pick for this, because just getting like cheeky Regenerate on everybody would be kind of cool. Obviously Bless is just extra blesses. Ward is also kind of cool because it will just be a very easy way to just mitigate damage across your party, and it triggers when it triggers. You don't really need to worry. Like you can reuse this too, which is nice. So realistically, something like Regenerate or Ward or Bless, where you just chuck it on and it's like, yeah, whatever. You'll use it when you use it, or need it when you need it, or don't need it, right? That's kind of cool. I like this item. I think this item is really cool. In terms of the support class, this is great. It's good to see more support items for sure. Support has always been like what do I use? Wands? Like that's kind of like in Gloomhaven, it was like you use wands. That's about it. Didn't really have anything else good to put in your hands. Except for maybe like something like a net or something, like some sort of utility attack item maybe. But if you just don't attack very much, what do you have? That's a really nice idea. I'm glad to see that there's some more like nice support items. There's also that like scepter that we had from the initial craftable items, which was really good too.
I think still, yeah.
That's the blessing from Cowboy. That's the blessing from.
Isaac, at this point, can we get your approval to add an additional attack modifier deck for allies in the digital version?